and welcome to MVP Hot Seat with Ibrahim Ababu. It is a pleasure to welcome Mr. Alessio Luvara, CEO of CAELUS, a pioneering force in transforming the nuclear licensing landscape. Today, we have the opportunity to delve into how CAELUS is revolutionizing the traditionally expensive, time-consuming, and labor-intensive process of licensing new nuclear technologies. As the first and only software company dedicated to reducing the time and cost associated with nuclear licensing, CAELUS is uniquely positioned to serve the African market. With no further ado, let's start with my first question. Alessio, tell us more about CAELUS. What do you do? Which market do you operate in?
Thank you so much, Ibrahim. So, CAELUS is a nuclear software provider who creates this integrated software suite for the licensing and design of nuclear installation. To be very concise, what we do is help nuclear companies to engineerize, build, and license their nuclear power station faster, thanks to our integrated software suite. So where are we active? We are active in North American markets, so USA, Canada, but also in Europe, where we are our headquarters. We are from Italy, specifically from Rome.
I see. Given that licensing nuclear power plant projects is notably expensive, lengthy, and labor-intensive, how do you envision CAELUS's AI-powered platform reducing these burdens in the African regulatory landscape?
So, thank you for the question. We plan to have a direct cooperation with nuclear regulatory bodies, but also our other partners in the industry in order to create an end-to-end platform to help reduce the time of licensing in the African countries. This will be done in 3 steps. The first step is to ensure, thanks to consultancy services, that the development and deployment of the regulatory frameworks in the various states helps to have a somehow harmonization in the African countries. The second step, thanks to the collaboration with the nuclear regulatory bodies, with which some of them we are already in contact with, will help us to create 2 parts of the software. One is a hope to be used by the regulator itself. Another one will be used by the industry. This will make an end-to-end compliance effort from the 2 parts. The third is when we actually engage with reactor vendors from the Western Bloc in order to help them to deploy faster and at reduced cost. The aim is to avoid to have a costly repetition in the licensing effort and to avoid to have such much engineering change requests that have plagued the Western building, construction, and licensing in the Western market for nuclear power plant. That is the scope, and that is how we will do that.
Very interesting. And staying on the same matter, African regulatory environment can vary widely across countries. How is CAELUS adapting its software to meet diverse national licensing requirements while ensuring consistency and compliance?
Thank you again for the question. So our software is particular in the sense that we are building it to be fully modular. What I say with that? I say that is being made in order to be able to generalize to the various regulatory framework that are already in place or are being made now in order to allow nuclear deployment in Africa. And in this way, we will ensure gap analysis and regulatory compliance checks between the different countries. The most important thing is that our technology is not tied to a specific vendor. That means that for any choosing of the country or the end user about the possible nuclear technology that they want to use, our software will be able to ensure its faster licensing. So to be very short, the answer is that the software is made exactly in the way to generalize the deployment on different countries and regulatory framework. But we can have a further discussion about that with the interested people that we will be at the African Nuclear Business Platform. And we wait for you at our booth.
Indeed. And it seems that there will be a lot of discussion during the African Nuclear Business Platform with the various countries. So staying on the same question about what sets you apart. CAELUS is the first software company aiming to significantly cut licensing time and cost for new nuclear technologies. What unique features of your platform set you apart from traditional licensing processes, and how might this innovation transform nuclear project development in Africa?
Perfect. So, how is made a normal licensing process? Very brief on that. It's almost brute force type of process, in the sense that I have my reactor vendor that applies to a specific regulatory bodies. It requests a certain amount of iterations in order to get the reactor license, and that takes so much time and an incredible amount of resources to get this job done. What we do is to tackle the challenge from the opposite way, so to have a licensing by design approach. What does I mean with that? Thanks to the software, it is possible to do regulatory gap analysis from a specific type of technology to a specific regulatory framework. And in this way, we can ensure the lowest amount of engineering change requests for a specific site and a specific technology, a specific nuclear technology. With that, and thanks to the whole software suite that is not only for licensing, but also for the nuclear design, for the nuclear project development, for the operation of nuclear power plant and the construction, we ensure an end-to-end seamless experience to have on time, on budget deployment of new nuclear power plants. So it's not just AI, it's not just enterprise software, but it's also a method that is going to be patented, is already in the process to be patented, in order to ensure this type of result. And on this is where also we are set apart from the competition, in the sense that instead of focusing only on the software and then engage with governments, regulatory bodies, etc., we are nuclear guys solving a nuclear problem. And we know that engaging stakeholder is the first step to have a successful application. That's why, other to the software, we are already engaging with these kind of stakeholders. And that's why we're at the African Nuclear Business Platform.
Indeed, sounds fantastic. So now we'll talk about something that is very important for the African nations. It's capacity building and human resource development. So how do you see CAELUS is contributing to capacity building in African nuclear industries, especially in terms of equipping local engineers with the tools to manage complex regulatory documentation efficiently?
From our point of view, African countries are the countries of the future, in the sense that they will have the most important application of nuclear technology in order to get enhanced quality of life and also industrialization. That means that we will have to have people there that is trained in order to not only work in the nuclear industry, but also use our software in order to ensure this possible nuclear deployment in Africa. That means that we are already setting in place training endeavors in order to have nuclear engineers or even mechanical engineers, people with a STEM background from the African countries, to be able to use our software and be our liaisons on the place. We are searching also at the moment from different African countries, and soon we will also publish the public request for people of this country. So how do we envision ourselves in the African landscape in order to get capacity building, etc.? In three ways. The first one is get people trained to use our software to deploy power plants in Africa. The second one is to get umbrella effect, thanks to the support with regulatory bodies and vendors, in order to get high quality jobs here in Africa. The third part is to ensure the maintenance and keep of the advantage we created in the deployment of the power plants, thanks to continuous development and training of these figures. So we want to be not only a strategic partner, but a protagonist in this endeavor. And that's what we are going to do.
That's great. And I agree with you that Africa is the future of nuclear energy, as many Africans have showcased commitment to nuclear energy, and also it's a perfect match for African countries who are looking for economic development, for industrialization, and they need nuclear energy to do so. So my last question, looking forward, how do you expect CAELUS's solution to change the economic and operational landscape for nuclear power projects in Africa, especially with the anticipated surge in SMR deployments?
This is an extremely good question. So we are on the brink of an epochal change in nuclear, in the sense that we are passing from very specific, tailored project, a huge project, to a stream of smaller SMR, MMR project that hopefully will get not only on time, on budget deployment of new nuclear power, but also get enhanced unit economics. So in order to ensure that, and having the licensing problem to not scale with the size of the reactor, but with the number of units that we want to deploy, if we want to tackle this advantage that SMR and MMR brings, we need to have an end-on-end solution that gets this licensing problem and the whole deployment of this type of items faster and cheaper. And that's how we are going to revolutionize it. We want to be, and we aim to be, the key enabling technology to get this SMR, MMR revolution done, not only in Africa, actually, but in the whole Western world. But regarding to Africa, here is key to get the most cutting-edge unit economics per nuclear unit possible in order to get faster deployment and also getting the best for the African countries. And without a solution like this, it will be extremely more painful and slowly. So here is where we will give our best help and where we will make the difference, actually. Thank you again for the question, because it's very important.
Thanks to you, Alessio, for sharing your vision and the strategic innovation driving CAELUS's transformative approach to nuclear licensing. Your discussion on streamlining compliance processes, adapting to varied national requirements, and equipping local talents underscores the potential to not only cut down licensing time and cost, but also to fundamentally reshape nuclear project development in Africa and elsewhere. We look forward to seeing how your platform accelerates Africa's nuclear energy ambitions and fosters more efficient, competitive, and sustainable energy future. With the African Nuclear Business Platform AFNBP 2025 on the horizon, CAELUS will be joining, as you mentioned, as a silver sponsor to share its expertise and foster collaboration with African nations. I'm looking forward to meeting you in Morocco in April. And once again, thank you, Alessio.
Thank you so much. It will be a pleasure to meet all of you in Morocco. Thank you.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you very much.